The flash came first. Brighter than the sun, it swallowed the sky, white-hot and soundless, for a breathless instant. Then came the wind. A wall of fire, glass, and steel roared outward, flattening everything it touched. Roof tiles sailed through the air like razors. Bodies vaporized where they stood. Shadows burned into concrete. Children screamed from collapsed schoolhouses. Mothers clawed through smoking rubble. The city of Hiroshima, once alive with morning routine, was now a smoldering wound. August 6th, 1945. The war in the Pacific had raged for nearly 4 years. Japan, though battered and blockaded, refused to surrender. In the sky that morning, a lone American B-29 bomber nicknamed the Enola Gay approached Hiroshima from the southeast, a city of over 300,000. No warning was given. No air raid sirens sounded. The sky was clear, still, deceptively calm. At exactly 8:15 a.m., the bomb bay doors opened. Inside was a 10-foot-long cylinder nicknamed Little Boy. Uranium-based, primitive by later standards, but unimaginably destructive. It detonated 1,900 feet above the city. Below, a tram packed with passengers vanished in an instant. Office clerks turned to ash mid-step. A group of schoolgirls, mobilized to help clear fire breaks, were caught in the open. Some were flung across streets like dolls. Others were never found. In the first second, the temperature at the epicenter surged to over 1,000,000 degrees Celsius. Concrete boiled. Iron railings bent. The blast ignited thousands of fires across the city, merging into a single firestorm that sucked oxygen from the air. Survivors stumbled through the burning streets, skin hanging from their arms like wet cloth, eyes blinded, tongues swollen. Some walked into rivers, seeking relief, then drowned. By 8:17 a.m., Hiroshima no longer existed as it had. A teenage boy named Shinji had just stepped outside with his school satchel when he saw the sky explode. He was hurled backward into his family's garden. When he came to, the roof was gone. So were the walls. So was his mother. He wandered the ruins barefoot, his body burned, his voice gone. Days later, he would be found beside the river clutching a charred lunchbox. His skin had fused to the metal. Elsewhere, a young nurse named Setsuko had been tending to a patient at the Red Cross hospital. The windows imploded, the ceiling collapsed. She crawled from under the rubble, only to find hundreds of wounded flooding the courtyard. Silent, burning, dying. She tore cloth from the curtains and wrapped limbs until her hands blistered. Some of the patients begged her to kill them. Others simply closed their eyes and slipped away. Within an hour of detonation, radioactive fallout began to drift down from the sky like black snow. It coated rooftops, sank into the soil, stuck to clothing. No one understood the strange illnesses that followed. Hair fell out, skin turned purple, gums bled, infants stopped breathing. There were no treatments, no explanations, only silence. By nightfall, the fires still burned. Corpses floated in the rivers. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to ash and bone. Those who had survived the blast often died in agony over the coming days, and those who lived longer bore the marks forever: keloid scars, chronic sickness, haunted eyes. 3 days later, Nagasaki would follow, but Hiroshima was first. The Americans had chosen it deliberately. It had not been heavily bombed prior. It was considered an ideal target to demonstrate the power of the atomic bomb. The goal was to shock Japan into surrender and the world into understanding a new kind of warfare. But for the people of Hiroshima, there was no strategy, no justification, only the unbearable reality of what had been done. Years later, survivors, Hibakusha, would testify. Not with anger, but with grief, with trembling voices and stories that stuck in the throat. The girl who begged her father not to touch her because his skin was melting. the man who returned to his home to find only a dark, human-shaped stain on the wall where his wife had stood. The atomic bomb killed an estimated 70,000 people instantly. Another 70,000 would die from injuries and radiation in the months that followed. Many more in the years beyond. And yet some lived. They rebuilt from the dust. They raised children. They planted trees. Hiroshima became a city of peace, a monument not just to destruction, but to survival. But the shadows remain, burned into stone, etched into memory, and every August 6th at 8:15 a.m., the bells toll. Thank you for listening to Last Post History. Subscribe for more true stories from the world at war.